Hey everybody, it's Zach, aka Zach's Reviews. We are back again with another video, and guys, today was All American Day, episode 6 of season 4. Guys, this episode was called Show Me a Good Time. This episode was really good. I really enjoyed today's episode. I'm just so happy, we're back with All American. We're back off of our little break we had, because of Thanksgiving and stuff. So we're back off of break with All American, and I'm just so happy we're back with All American. I love this show so much. I've said this so many times. I probably sound like a broken record, but literally, I love this show so much. It's so nice to, when we come back from breaks and stuff, or when we come back for a new season, we always are looking forward to seeing what's next in the story, or we're always wondering, from a cliffhanger, what's gonna happen, we have something to look forward to, either after a crappy day, or even after a good day, we have something to look forward to that makes it a good day. And I just love this show so much because in this episode, this literally made me feel like, we go to the cabin, Spencer's cabin again in this episode. And what really was funny to me, I thought right away, I was calling it, Mortal Cabin, part 2, fight. That's what I was calling it, Mortal Cabin part 2, because I thought for sure, they were all pretty much afraid that it was going to happen again. They were all going to fight in this episode again like they did previously when everybody was at Spencer's cabin before. And, everybody makes jokes towards it. And I was like, what's going to happen in this episode? Because in this episode, it's of course, it's senior ditch day. So everybody's not going to school. And, Spencer has a romantic date, planned out for, Olivia, and he wants to have he wants it to be a special night, a special day and a special time where they can be with each other, and maybe they can have that one special moment that they've been wanting to have for a very, very long time. So he has it all planned out. He tells her, put on this blindfold, but of course Olivia is writing a paper for, for her, internship. So, she's focused on that, and he's like, put that down, this is our one day to really, spend time with one another and really have this fun time. Let's take advantage of it. And, of course, she keeps, going back and forth to this paper that she wants to do because it's going to what she's going to be doing after, after high school when she graduates. So, of course, she's focused on that, and, he's like, okay, put the blindfold on, I'm gonna take you to this place. She's like, it's a little kinky. You sure you want it to be our first time in the back of your of the car? And he said, just put it on or whatever. And she, of course, she's guessing and stuff where they're going, but they're heading to the cabin. And, on the other end, we see Coop and, Patience. They're going to have a carnival day. They're going to go to, the fair or something, and they're going to eat funnel cakes and have a fun time. And, of course, Coop gets a phone call, and, of course, it's her lawyer trying to tell her, this is what you need to do, or her attorney, something like that. She's being asked to come in and do some stuff, and that's what, sets Patience off, the fact of she made plans with Coop, and Coop's bailing on her to do these things that Patience never wanted Coop to do, is get back in the situation after her getting shot, put back in the situation where some more bad stuff can happen, because, in Patience's eyes, we're a team. I'm in this with you for the long haul, but you're putting me in danger when you keep putting yourself in danger. You're putting me in danger, and you're not realizing that. So she's just angry that, Coop lied to the officer, saying that she's the one that shot Mo when that's not true. It's, of course it was Preach, and she's trying to keep Preach out of what's going on. She's trying to keep Preach out of jail, so that's why she took the fall, knowing that, if people knew Preach did it, Preach would be going to prison, and, his daughter would have nowhere to go, and he didn't want to take that away from Preach's daughter, or take Preach away from his daughter because of of Mo's vengeance after her thinking that it was Coop's fault that her brother Tyrone died and stuff. So she's really trying to just she's trying to mend everything. She's trying to make it where everybody's happy, and she's putting her own safety and everything at risk, because she's putting her relationship at risk with Patience, but she doesn't see that. And Patience just gets angry with her and saying, I called off hanging out with Layla today, doing a session today to hang out with you, and you're already blowing me off doing all this. And she's like, just forget it or whatever. And pretty much she ends up making plans with Asher and Layla after she ends up coming back from her talking to her, whatever, her lawyer or something like that. And she comes back, and, of course, Patience was writing her off, saying, I'm hanging out with them. They're having a good time and stuff. And at this point, where I love it, because at this point, we're going to go back with Olivia and Spencer. They finally get to the cabin, And guess who's there? And this is what shocked me, and I was like dying. And I was like, who the hell you think you are being at this cabin? Freaking Simone and Jordan were at Spencer's cabin, and I said they got some nerve, because when Olivia's face, like when Spencer took the blindfold off of Olivia, her face went like from oh, I wonder, is this a resort? Are we at the beach? To all I heard was a record scratch, because I was like, oh no, why are you upset about this? I thought, oh my gosh, she upset because she doesn't want to be at the place that she had all the bad memories of the big fallout, with everybody having their fallout when the last time we were at Spencer's, cabin. I was like, oh my god, I'm like, that's why she doesn't want to be here. But it's because she knew that Jordan and Simone were at the cabin, and Jordan never even asked Spencer. And I was like, who the hell are you going to this man's cabin? You literally, that's a breaking and entering, problem, dude. You could be going, like, that's a problem. Who the hell are you? I got pissed for a second. I was like, this dude has some nerve. I'm like, Spencer's not going to be happy about this. And then we come back from commercial. He's like, dude, I never, like, what are you doing here? And he's like, you said I could use your cabin anytime I wanted to. And he's like, yeah, when I'm here or whatever. It doesn't mean you just get to break in or whatever. I thought that was funny. But, of course, Spencer's not too angry at it, but he's angry at the point that they were supposed to have a special time. And while, while Spencer's talking to Jordan, we see Simone talking to Olivia and saying that, oh my god, I didn't know we were going to be showing up here. I'm sorry that, we ruined you and Jordan's, getaway time. He's like, no, she's, Simone's like, I feel sorry, you know what I mean? Was this going to be your special moment? And we ruined that. We don't want to be, harshing you guys' mellow. Like, we should get out of here because you guys are going to have that special moment. You guys are going to finally, have sex. So we feel bad. Like, we don't want to be here if, like, we're going to ruin a special moment in a day with you, for you guys. But, of course, she's like, no, just stay, you might as well now. We don't want to ruin any time. We can both be here. And that's at the moment where JJ ends up showing up. And I was like, oh my god, JJ showing up. And he shows up with the party bus. I love JJ so much. I feel like these characters don't, like, I would be lucky if I had a bro like JJ. Let's take a minute, guys. Wouldn't you want to have a cool friend like JJ? That's someone that's so happy, wants to make you happy, wants to just hang out. I would love to have a friend like that. Like, it's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Like, someone that's just, like, very, like, energized and stuff like that. You don't see very many people out in the world like that. And that's just so energized, so happy, so, like, let's do this, let's do that, you know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy to me, like, his energy level is just awesome. I love JJ's character, and everybody always writes him off. They're like, oh, JJ, what are you doing here, and all that stuff, and he's like, oh, I tracked you guys on Find My Phone app, and I love how Simone's like, oh, everybody let's turn off that app, and I thought it was funny because, right away when JJ said you tracked everybody, I was like, dude, did you put trackers in their phones, your best friend's phones? I was like, that's kind of funny, but kind of weird, bro. I was like, I love you, bro, but that's kind of weird and funny to me. I'm like, that's also, like, something JJ would definitely do. And I just, like, I love how when he goes inside, Simone's like, let's turn that app off, guys. So I just found that funny. Like, that was peak funniness to me right there. And I just love how, well, they're like, okay, at this point, okay, whatever. And then JJ goes on FaceTime. And, like, on Instagram Live, and says, everybody come to the cabin. And then, of course, that's when that's how Asher and that's how Layla know. And at this time, we're going to go back to the point where, Coop finally goes back after she's done doing her, meeting up with the officer and everything, or her lawyers and stuff. And meets up back with, of course, oh my god, Asher, Layla, and, of course, Asher, Layla, and, I can't believe I'm forgetting what her name is right now. I'm blanking. Asher, Layla, and why am I blanking? Asher, Layla, and, oh my god, Patience. Oh lord, it was a long day, guys, at work. I just had the biggest, like, brain fart right now, but, Patience. And at this point, she's having a good time. She's like, okay, you're leaving me, even though I cut my time, I'm gonna cut your time now. I'm not gonna spend the day with you, I'm gonna spend the day with them. And they're like, oh, they're getting ready to go to the beach and do something of their own for Senior Ditch Day, Layla, and of course, Asher. But at that moment, that's when they get the Instagram Live thing, and it says, oh, like, oh, come to here, because at this point, well, she's talking, well, of course, Patience is talking to them. Coop gets a call because, at this point, Patience is writing off Coop. So we get the point of, of course, she's calling, calling Spencer. Spencer's calling, Coop. And then at this point, Spencer's like, "Oh, just come up to the camp. I already got, it got JJ. JJ showed up, and it got ruined or whatever. So, we're just chilling up here. You should come up here." And then at this point, we see, of course, Coop say to the patients, "Okay, we should go up to Spencer's cabin. Everybody's up there." And then he's like, "Oh, would you guys want to go?" He's like, "Oh, we already know. We already got the invite. JJ is showing us inviting us up, saying, "Oh, why would you rather have senior ditch day at the beach when the new trend is doing it in the woods, at a cabin? So come on here and let's go have a fun time. I'll see you guys later." I was like, that's so JJ. Of course, he would broadcast it where he wants everybody to show up, because at this point, JJ's that type of friend that wants to have everybody together, wants everybody to have a good time, wants people to have, moments they'll remember, because this is the time where he's like, we have to all hang out. This is our last, this is senior ditch day. This is the one time we really get to do crazy things, and skip a day of school. Let's do it, because, we won't have moments like this. We'll look back on these moments and cherish them. And he wakes everybody up early in the morning, and everybody just hangs up on him. I kind of felt bad. I was like, damn. If my friend did that, I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's do something crazy. You know what I mean? Because it is true. We look back on those times. I look back on those times when I had senior ditch day. And I hung out with my so-called friends back in the day, and it's just crazy to me, because I look back on those times, and those times were simpler times. Those times were the craziest times of our lives. You know what I mean? And I miss being back in high school to this day. You know what I mean? I hated. I wanted to leave high school so bad, but when I left, you never realize how much you miss it until it's gone. And it's true. That's why you always want to cherish those moments and live in the now. So, it's just crazy to me, you know what I mean? So I just see where JJ is coming from, because those are going to be the best times of their lives, and JJ pretty much knows that. And he wants all of them to, stay in touch, you know what I mean? So he wants to make those moments. He wants to be that party planner, you know what I mean? So, so at this point, everybody shows up, so they're all trying to make room right now. Of course, Simone and Jordan, Olivia's like, you guys can be in that one room, JJ, you can be on the couch, and, Spencer and me are going to be out in the back patio, out in the back or whatever, in the back room. And then next thing you know, here comes, he's like, "Oh, I forgot I invited, Coop and, Patience." And then next thing they're like, "Oh, they can be on the couch, and, JJ, there's a sleeping bag." That's what, Olivia says to JJ. And then next thing Asher's like, "Do you have room for two more?" And at this point, we're at the point where, of course, JJ is like, "I'm not sleeping out on the porch. That's just not happening. Or out on the back patio. That's not happening." So they all have to make room. And pretty much at this point, I'm thinking shit's going to go down. Everybody's showing up. People are going to bring back last time they were there, or the problems that they had last time. We're going to literally have Immortal Cabin Part 2 fight. I thought for sure it was about to go down with everybody. I was like, oh no. I'm like, please let it not be that episode. Please let them rejoice, have a good time. My stress level can't handle this enough where we leave it bad. You know what I mean? Leave this to a point where everybody's on a bad note, because we're getting close to, eventually, they're going to be done in high school, and we're going to be going on to the next season, seeing them do their college thing, seeing them do whatever. And this is the moment that they really got to make memories and do some cool things, because we're getting to the point of prom, we're getting to the point of, graduation, we're getting to those moments. And a lot of problems do happen at this point, mind you. I was like, oh, please let there not be problems, but I knew there was going to be problems. So, of course, on one end, we see, of course, Patience and Coop just, she just keeps writing off Coop, saying, I'm happy, we're good, you know what I mean? But she's ignoring the problems. And Asher's pretty much one saying, if you, are you and Coop okay? And she's like, yeah, we're great. Why wouldn't we be? And she's like, because I could tell by the way you kind of read her off, at the coffee shop, you know what I mean? You guys didn't seem like you guys were in a good place. And he's like, coming from a person that's not, hasn't been good with his relationships, you should really talk to her. We know you love her, but you should really tell her, how you feel and where you're coming from right now. And, and same with, Coop and Spencer have that talk saying, you really have to go, you and Patience's relationship is all about communication. You need to communicate with her, tell her where you're at right now, how you are, and how things can get better, and tell her that you're going to be there for her, and you're going to try to work things out and make time for her and do that stuff, because it's all about how Coop has not spent enough time with Patience. Coop, Patience wanted her to go on tour to, I think it was Vegas at the time. They wanted her to go back on tour with her, and she didn't want to do that. She didn't want to go on tour. And of course, Patience is kind of holding that against her, because again, Coop's not making time with Patience. Coop's main priority is more, Preach and, Preach's daughter. So it's kind of Coop's priorities really should be with Patience, the person, that she's with. And it's kind of like, I can see where Patience is coming from, but I can also see where Coop's coming from, because, she feels like she's responsible, that, Preach's daughter doesn't have a mother, and she feels responsible for that. She feels responsible for all the drama that's happened, that made this problem. You know what I mean? She feels like it's her fault, and she doesn't want that, she feels responsible for, Mo dying, but she doesn't feel responsible for, Preach's daughter to not have a father, and have, Preach go to jail. So she's really fighting her inner demons of, she doesn't want to feel like the person that causes problems. So she's trying to really, like, balance two things, or at least now she's going to try to, saying, and, they have a talk, and she's going to say, she said to Patience, like, I'm going to try to get back to who I was, but it's going to take me some time, you know what I mean? I just need you to be here for me, ride through the storm with me. I need you to be that person. And I could just tell that, I'm not going to lie, it seems like, Patience just really isn't interested in the relationship anymore. She said, I'm in this for the long haul. I'm going to always be here for you. But it seems like she's at the point where I could see Patience leaving Coop, and I don't want this to go down. I don't want Coop to spiral down the dark path, or something bad happen to Coop. I really want Patience to stick to her word and go through the storm with Coop, because again, if you really love Coop, you really need to give Coop some time to become Coop again. I mean, she did get shot. She is going through this problem. And, if you're there with her and you really try to keep Coop's head on straight, then you guys will get through that storm together. You guys will get on the other end. But I feel like since she's pulling away, even though she's saying she's going to be, she's all in and she's in it for the long haul, I feel like she's not, though. But, because we see that when she talks on the time capsule videos, which JJ ends up making, because Spencer gives the idea of, we should all do a time capsule, because that was a tradition at South Crenshaw that, my mom and, Billy did, when they were in high school. And of course, Olivia thinks that's a good idea, and JJ wants to, he's like, I got it covered. I'm gonna do video logs, and we're gonna put it on the drive, and we're gonna dig it somewhere by a tall tree. So that's what JJ's doing right now. He wants to be like the filmer, filming everybody's thing, because JJ wants to have a good time. JJ wants to be the planner and make sure everybody's in it together, and, and stays friends, and, and wants them all to be a participant in something fun like this. Again, JJ's one of those people that wants everybody to be together and wants everybody to have a fun time and remember those moments, because he knows they're going to be the best times of their lives. So, while that's going on, I love it, because, back in, in LA, or what, and we see, of course, at South Crenshaw, we see Grace and we see Billy, and I love it because in this episode, Grace is mainly focused on the fact she wants to find her time capsule, and that's where the whole time capsule, fun thing, main plot of the sort of thing, the key point of them, having the best times of their lives and trying to focus on what, where they want to be in the future and stuff like that, which is so perfect, because they kind of have an idea where they want to go in the, in their lives, and it would be cool to put in the time capsule. So it's really cool that we got this in this episode, because it makes sense, because it gives them a reason to show up later down the line. If something does happen, they'll all go back to the, Spencer's cabin to get that time capsule. So it gives us a point where even if our characters break up, we'll see them later down the line, hopefully, and we'll see them dig up the time capsule. So it's a good story point to go back to, even if our characters, people end up not being friends, or people end up breaking up, because they'll come back to that one moment, and that will make them have a reliving moment of how we see, of course, Grace and Billy, it's kind of like a foreshadowing too. We see Grace and Billy looking for the time capsule, and then we see Principal Carter. He never had a situation like that where he did the time capsule, because he was in boarding school and did everything like that. So he wanted to be a part of that. So, and of course, they have dinner plans, mind you, at this point, we see, Spencer's brother, he's over, at a friend's house, and then we see, of course, Grace and Principal Carter are they're going to be going on a dinner date. And, and then we see, of course, Billy is going to be going on a dinner date, with, a date night with, Grace. Not Grace, Laura. So it's crazy, because they're already, they have plans, but they get sidetracked with this whole treasure hunt, looking for the time capsule, and, Billy and Grace are really into it, and then Principal Carter's like, oh, come on, we have dinner plans soon, let's leave, but then he gets sucked into it, and then Laura ends up showing up saying, okay, and she's like, this is ridiculous, you guys are looking for a time capsule, You know what I mean? Like, oh, like this is ill. Come on, like, I'm hungry. I want to leave. And then, of course, they invite the one girl. I forget her name. The one girl that like had a crush on Billy in high school, and had a crush on Spencer's dad. It's crazy because she ends up coming back, and I want to look up that character's name because I'm totally like blanking on what that character's name is. What her name is. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, because like she literally had a crush on Corey, and she had a crush on Billy. And I'm trying to look and see if I can find her on the cast list. And I'm probably going to have to go to IMDb because she's not popping up on the internet. So let's go All American. It's on the tip of my tongue too, what her name is. It's very frustrating when you have these moments. I'm hoping I can just find her right away. Come on. Okay. Denise Patterson. Yeah, Denise Patterson. They end up calling her because she's the only one that would probably really know where the time capsule is. And mind you, everybody's into it. They're like, oh, we're into this. We're not. She's like, just give up already. And of course, I love how Billy's like, everybody looks at her. Looks at Laura. We see, Grace. We see Principal Carter. We see, Billy all looking at her. And Billy says, never say that again. Crenshaw never gives up or whatever. And then they start, we see, of course, Principal Carter and Billy just dab up. They're like, yeah. And I was like, that's just great. They're all into it at this point. And then, of course, they call Denise because she would know where this time capsule is. And I love it because she even admits saying, oh, I re-hid the time capsule. He's like, I knew it. And Grace is like, I knew you did that or whatever. She's like, of course, because I wanted to take a sneak peek before we even got to, the day we're supposed to open the time capsule in 30 years and stuff like that. We weren't supposed to open it until later down, still like later down the line, but I want to open it now. I'm getting curious. So, of course, she has a full-on map, a treasure map. And I love it because Grace is like, really, a treasure map or whatever? And at this point, I'm just having a blast because this episode on multiple fronts where that's going on at the cabin. They're doing this, back in LA and all that stuff. I just found that funny to me. That's what they're doing. The grown-ups are doing like a treasure hunt looking for the time capsule. And they found other people's time capsules, like other classrooms or other years and stuff. Time capsules. But they end up finding, finally, their time capsule. They end up reading off what they expected their lives would be later down the line. And, Billy's was pretty accurate. He said, I want to have, 2 amazing kids, an amazing family, and I want to have a wife that, realizes that I'm her one true love, and, and I just want to have a big family, and, you know what I mean, and just, a perfect family, and he essentially has that. So it's crazy because, even Denise is like, that's oddly, that's really awkward, you know what I mean? The fact of, they did have a little mishap, her, of course, Billy and Laura, but they came back. And I thought that was going to spark up a problem at first because the faces that everybody made at the time when Denise said that, I was like, oh no, that was going to cause a problem here. And of course, Denise is what she's like, I want to have, kids, and I want to have, I want to date this one, guy I really liked. And Billy is like feeling himself. He's like, oh, it was me. I knew you had a crush on me. And then she says some other name, and he's like, no. He's like, I met him in real life. He's shorter than me or whatever. I found that funny that Billy was getting like, he's feeling himself at first. He's like, oh, he's not better looking than me. He's like, he's shorter than me. It was like, I love that. That was just funny to me. And of course, Grace is like, she's like, she wanted to be the first, black president, and I love it. They're like, she wanted to be, Barack or whatever, and she's like, no, she wanted Barack to, she wanted Barack to be her or whatever or something like that. And I was like, that's funny, that's cool. I was like, I like this. I love how like they had a place that, but also Grace did what she wanted to do in a sense. She was there for her community. She had that on her list. She's like, I want to see my community grow and see everybody, and make change and stuff. And she's been doing that. So it's kind of essentially they're getting what they initially wanted in their goals. So that was really cool. And of course, it made me sad because we end up hearing Corey's, and that makes me sad because Corey didn't end up living that life. You know what I mean? It makes me sad that we'll never see that with Corey. But I'm just so happy Corey went off on a good note, being with Spencer, being with of course Grace, and and that it made me very happy. And Dylan and all that stuff, that he was there in the last moments, and of course also like Darnell. So he was with everybody at the time when he went, and that made me happy that he did have a version of his happy ending. And it just was a sad moment to hear Corey's time capsule note of where he wants to be in the future. But it was also funny because he said, I want to have a big mansion like and be, Fresh Prince. So I thought that was funny. So, while that happened and that's how that ended and stuff, we see also on the other end of, we see, of course, Olivia and Spencer, and they're not having a moment where they can just be together because everything has just been, JJ's been, being all crazy. Let's do these activities. Let's do these activities. And he's trying to have a good time, trying to have them all be together instead of all being separate and doing their own thing. He wants everybody to stick together. And he wants to be like, he's literally the glue that keeps essentially everybody together and brings everybody like together and have a good time. At least that's what he wants to be. And I really love that about JJ. But, we see them, finally coming to terms, Olivia and Spencer saying, let's just go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, you're done with your, you writing your thing. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go back to my place. You know what I mean? Let's go watch movies and stuff. You know what I mean? We don't have to, have sex. We don't have to do that. Let's just go back and let's just have some time alone. And let's have a moment between just me and you. Let's just go back to my place. Let's just ditch them. They're having a good time. Let's just go. So, of course, they end up going back to their place, and this is how, like, the episode ends up, ending off with, them finally, being alone. Dylan's sleeping at his, his friend's house. We see, of course, Grace is on the, date with, Principal Carter, and they have the place alone. They end up pretty much, finally, having that one special moment. They finally have that moment that they've been wanting to have since they've met each other, essentially. So that was just nice that they finally had that moment, and to see them finally, that moment after they had sex and they wake up the next morning and they're just chilling in bed and it's so nice just to see them finally have a moment where it's not chaos, finally have a moment where it's not like they did something wrong or like, you know what I mean, or someone's making it seem like they did something wrong, and they just get to love one another, they just get to be with one another, they just get to have like a moment where they could just be with each other without some crazy shit going on. I just really appreciated that. Finally, we got that moment with my shipping couple. That we got that moment, and it made me happy. And I'm excited to see where things go forward. Once Spencer goes off the, I think he's going to be still going off to college. But he's going to be going to Golden State or whatever, or not Golden State, or what was it? I forget. It's like a golden, is like, what is it? Golden athlete or whatever. Or I forget what it was called. But he's going there, you know what I mean? Like with, Jordan. So I really appreciate the fact of where we could possibly see them go, their relationship, because they're solid right now. Their communication, them being on the same level, like, you know what I mean? The same, like, them be like on the same communication level, on the same, how they're feeling about their relationship level. Like they're really, grinding right now in their relationship, and they're really having like, it's good right now. They're in a stable place where it's great. So I'm excited to see where they go going forward in season 5. You know what I mean? It's going to be crazy to see where they're going to be going in season 5. But on the biggest note, this was the one that was like the not cliffhangered over, but like we sneak peeked over of Jordan and Simone. That was what I was afraid of, because I said in my past my past review, and I said also when they did the episode where we see what was it, Damon, which is Peyton Alex Smith's character, Damon, for, All-American Homecoming, and him kind of feeling Simone, and I was kind of worried, at Brixton, because he's at Brixton, and I was kind of worried when Simone goes to Brixton, they're trying to set up her new love interest, and I was worried because at this moment, at this moment, Jordan is feeling Homecoming. He's super excited for Homecoming, he keeps talking about his suit, he keeps, flexing about his suit, saying, it's going to be the best night ever, you know what I mean, at this prom, I'm so happy, me and Simone are going together, and all that stuff, and at this moment, Simone tells Layla, I won't be able to go to prom. It's the same week as my tennis tournament that will get me that will make me a shoo-in for Brixton. I can't go to prom, and she ends up telling Jordan, and Jordan's like, I feel like we've been kind of ignoring the problem in our relationship. It's not like it's not like we're not spending time together, but I feel like I'm losing you. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like we're running out of time, and I feel like I'm losing you. I feel like, at this point, when me and you both go off to college, it's going to be it. That's going to be it. And for a second, I thought, aren't you guys like married? But I think if I'm correct, she called off the marriage and they're still just dating. I don't know. I think they're just dating at this point. But still, it's kind of like, I saw where Jordan was coming from. I'm like, I guess I could see where you're coming from. But but Simone's that loyal person that I didn't see Simone just dropping her loyalty, you know what I mean? Like, screwing over Jordan like that. And of course, I don't see Jordan doing that to Simone. So I was like, I think they'll be fine. And Jordan, but I understand where Jordan's coming from is like, you guys spend so much time together, but you guys are going to be going off to, different colleges. And you always hear that when people go to different colleges. And you know what I mean? Like, they're a high school couple, and then they go off to college, 2 different colleges, and then they say, long distance is going to work, and it ends up not working. It's very lucky when long distance relationships work, and I felt like it definitely would have worked, and they clearly show that because Simone reassures Jordan, saying oh, you know what I mean, like where Jordan ends up storming off. He's looking at he's sitting at the lakeside. And of course, Simone calls him saying, with you, tell me what you're wearing. And he's like, I'm wearing a blue turtleneck or whatever. And she's like, are you feeling okay? Your voice sounds weird. It is getting cold out here. Maybe I got to put on a jacket so my voice doesn't sound like yours. And she's like, well, I'm just, he's like, where are you? It's like, I'm just, upstairs. I'm wearing your favorite, I'm wearing your t-shirt and I'm wearing your favorite black, black, thong or whatever. He's like, the string one or whatever. And he's like, ends up rushing there. She's tried to show him and reassure him that long distance is going to work. Like I just told you on the phone. See your reaction? It's going to work out, and that's how it's going to work out. Meaning that it will work out. There's no reason to be afraid, even if, I don't go to prom or whatever. And, we end up, and then we do spend some time together. We graduate and we go to different schools. We're still going to be together. You need to know that this is going to work for it to work. And it's so true. When you go into the mindset of, you are going to a different college and your girlfriend's going to a different college or your boyfriend's going to a different college, you need to know that it's going to work. When you start second guessing it, that's when things probably won't work. And that's what Simone wanted to pretty much reassure Jordan, that, you're making it sound like it's not going to work when I know it's going to work. And that's what really makes me happy. I just hope we stick with that to the story of that she reassured them, and they're on good terms now. Like, oh, this is going to work out. We're going to be fine. And we see that through their time capsule moment where we see Jordan and Simone being there, and she's like, Jordan's like, oh, I'm going to be, going off to, to college. I'm going to be in the NFL. And of course, my girl is going to be, beating, Serena Williams's, tennis, records and stuff like that. And she's like, that's right or whatever. So I thought that was cool. How, you know what I mean? Like, they already know what they're going to be doing, and they're going to be that, that awesome dynamic duo couple, and I just hope they stick with that. I hope that they will stay together. I hope that I was wrong with, Damon becoming Simone's new love interest in All-American Homecoming. I really hope they stick together. I don't want them to break up. That would really frustrate me. They are such a great couple. I just really want them to stay together. But I want to know what your opinions are down in the comments below. Do you guys think they'll stay together? Or do you guys think that they did set up that whole Damon feeling Simone? Maybe they could be, it does work out for a little bit between Jordan and Simone, and then we get to the point where you'll be Damon and Simone. I want to know what you guys think about the theories of that, and do you guys think they'll stay together, or do you think Simone will be with Damon when she goes over to All-American Homecoming? Again, I think there will be crossovers where, of course, she'll come over and, Jordan will go over and other characters will go over. Like, they'll be crossing over one another because Simone's there, and I feel like other people will visit Simone, and Simone will come over there, and other people will visit, Simone over in All-American, and I feel like they'll just do crossovers because they're in the same universe. But Olivia and Spencer doing great, and then we see Simone and Jordan being great, and and pretty much she reassures Jordan saying our relationship will work, we will be fine, we will be great. We gotta have trust in our relationship. We gotta have faith in our relationship. You know what I mean? Like the faith. So I was like, that's sick. That's cool. We're cool with that. My stress level can go down a bit. I was like, this is sick. And at the point, we get to the point, of course, where we see, Patience, and of course we see, we see Patience, and we see Coop and them having that moment saying, oh, I want you to be here. But then we see when they have I already talked about it too. We see them when they have their moment though, of them being on the time capsule videos. We see, of course, Coop saying, I'm hopefully going to be somewhere great in my life, and of course, I'm having my girl always right next to me, and my ride or die, and I mean that's all I need or whatever. And then we see, of course, is Patience saying, I'm not sure where I'm going to be in the future. I'm not sure who I'm not sure what my future holds and stuff like that, or all that stuff. And that kind of concerned me because it's like I don't think she wants to be with Coop anymore, and that kind of concerns me because she's kind of making it to the point where she won't say it, but she keeps saying she'll be the day one. She'll be like, oh, she's all in and all that stuff. But I feel like she's going to retract that. And that kind of upsets me. It kind of scares me to where will that lead Coop. But or also that scares me like, oh, if maybe she is right because other people have warned, other people have warned Patience, saying, wherever Coop goes, death follows and problems follow. And even, Patience's father even said that about Coop, saying, wherever Coop goes, problems happen. And I'm thinking, what if this ends up where, Patience gets shot and Patience dies, and it is because Coop's fault? Coop will blame herself, or it would be Coop's fault and all that stuff and all that crap. And I'm just worried that crazy shit's going to happen, because we all know, Preach's daughter is going to do something stupid and get either somebody killed, or is something bad's going to happen. I feel like she's on a revenge trip, and that scares me, especially at her at a young age. She just seems like she's just on a revenge trip, and that scares the crap out of me. It might be because she is so young, and she's doing all this research and scaring me, because there's so much room for mess ups, whatever she might do, that could get somebody killed, and that will scare me. That scares me, because it's unpredictable. She's young. She won't think about what she's doing, and she might do it, and then it will cause a big problem, because it looks like something big's happening in the next episode with prom going on, and I'm afraid that, because we see somebody doing Preach's daughter's makeup to go somewhere, and I'm thinking, and then we hear Spencer, I think, if I'm correct, say, call 911, and I'm thinking, what if Coop gets shot or something again, and it's because of Preach's daughter or something? I don't know, guys. My stress level is skyrocketing for the next episode. It looks all fun, fun. You're saying, I'm going to focus on you. That's what Spencer's saying to Olivia. This is our night. This is our time. And then here comes some bullshit happening on the side, and I'm afraid what's going to be happening. But I loved tonight's episode. I thought it was funny. It had the comedic moments. It had the heartfelt moments. It had some, some foreshadowing of already, the kind of, of course, Grace, Billy, and Denise, and they had those moments that the kids had, and the kids are now having those moments that they had leading up to the moments. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a foreshadowing. It's like a foreshadowing of, They're going to be that. They're going to be going and looking for their time capsule, just how Grace and Billy went back to the school looking for the time capsule. We're going to see everybody go back to Spencer's, cabin. You know what I mean? And, and look to the James cabin and look for their time capsule, and they're all going to get back together regardless of what happens later down the line. I love how they made such a story point of, we could come back to this later down the line, even if our characters split up and things go wrong. They'll come back later down the line and look for that and go to the capsule and watch the videos. I like that. I really appreciate that. It's cool. But guys, that was the video of episode 6 of All American, called, I'm going to make sure what it was called, because I'm forgetting right now what the episode was called. It was called Show Me a Good Time, episode 6 of season 4 of All American. I just loved this episode. I thought it was really good. Again, I want to know down in the comments below what you guys thought about this episode. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. Tell me what you guys are looking forward to in the rest of the season. Tell me what you guys think tell me in the comments below what you guys think is happening that's crazy in the next episode. Who do you think is hurt that they have to call 911? And tell me what you guys think about, what do you think about, Preach's daughter? What do you think she's going to be doing? Do you think that's what we're leading up into the next episode? And also, do you guys think that, Patience is going to stay with Coop? Do you guys think that she really means that she's in it for the long haul? I really want to know what you guys have to say about that down in the comments below. But yet again, guys, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications, like this video. We'd love to have you guys here, a part of this family on this channel. We're literally on our way from hitting 500 subscribers. We're making moves. We're making strides. Right now, we're at 426 or whatever, or 427. We're literally flying to 500 subs, guys. That's my goal, to get to 500 subscribers. I know we can do it, again, with your love and positivity and your motivation that you guys show me on this channel. So I would love to, again, if you guys come and subscribe to this channel, because I would just love your support on me getting to 500 subscribers. And again, this family is growing each and every day, and I would just love for you guys to, again, come join this family. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation here on this channel, and we're just making moves, and this family is growing so fast, and I cannot believe we're almost at 500 subscribers. So guys, yet again, if you're new to the channel and you've been watching, you know what I mean, if you come across this video, subscribe to the channel, put those notifications, and like this video. It helps with the algorithm, yet again, when I say like this video, because, it really pushes my videos out there, gets to everybody else, so they can see this video, and they can come join this fam. But guys, that was the video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next Monday for episode 7 of All American. Peace.